creating a new social life. I hate this idea, this assumption that somehow you're going to be less social, more boring if you change your drinking. And in part, that's because if you've been drinking quite a lot, you've got a social life that's been very focused around the pub. And whilst I do believe people can still go to the pub, it will become less interesting. I promise you. I think most people who give up drinking don't go to the pub, not because they feel that they can't be in a place with alcohol. It's just that it's a bit boring. You about to say something there?
Well, the later it gets in the evening, the more
boring
it gets.
Yeah.
Which is something you only realise when you stop drinking.
And this is a great opportunity for you to begin to look at some of those other things that have been on your list in terms of your social life. And I think we've talked before about the fact that you will find that there'll be friends that don't go out with you very often when you start to look down the list. The reason why they don't go out with you so often is because they don't want heavy nights out drinking, so they avoid you. You might want to start reconnecting with some of those people. But there's all sorts of things out there to try. And so if you've always wanted to do an evening course and learn a bit of conversational French or cooking or interpretive dance or whatever your thing is, then that's not just about learning, it's a social experience. You may find just exploring what non-alcoholic evening outs there are in your local area is already really interesting. There's loads of niche and small cinemas. There's a number of planetariums around the country that do nighttime stargazing. There are even pubs that do naked life drawings in the evenings. So it isn't that this stuff isn't there, it's just that you'll have to make a new effort. And actually that can be part of your distractions while you take a dry January.
And it doesn't even have to be anything new. It could just be more of the things you used to do.
That's true.
Before, because unless you drink all the time, you are not drinking some of the time, so you can do more of those things.
Yeah, so on our community today, somebody was saying, right, I've ate perfectly today and I've been to the gym and I've still got time to spare. You know, I've cooked all my own food and everything and I've still got time to spare. What do I do now? And I'm saying like, well, you know what? It sounds like you've ticked off a lot of goals on your list today. Why not reward yourself for something? And he's gone off to look at what he might reward himself with that isn't alcohol because he realised he'd forgotten that bit. You can try websites like Meetup. There's loads of people organising events that don't have alcohol at their centre, from book readings and book clubs through to lots of walking.
Anything you can imagine.
There's absolutely everything on there. And also trying out new places. You don't have to avoid places that have got alcohol in them, but I can tell you a really posh meal out is a lot cheaper if you're not drinking wine. So you might be able to try that restaurant you thought you wanted to save up for. It's both a reward and an exploration. So you can try out some new places that might have been on your list. And like we said, learning new things. Online courses. There were a group of people talking about Duolingo, which is an app that helps you learn a language. It doesn't just have to be one thing either. It might be something that takes 10 minutes and you might have some things that take an evening.
And not take them too seriously. You might try something for once and think, well, not quite my thing, so I'll do something else instead.
Yeah. It's good. You don't have to make it another goal in its own right. It's there to open up your avenues